Hello, party people. Welcome to another installment of reading one story a day from Pu Songling's Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio until I get bored or forget. Today we have story number 13, Growing Pears. A peasant was selling pears in the market. Sweet they were and fragrant, and exceedingly expensive. A Taoist monk in a tattered cap and robe came begging by the pear vendor's cart, and the man told him to be gone. When the monk lingered, the vendor began to abuse him angrily. "But you have hundreds of pears in your cart," returned the monk, "and I'm only asking for one. You would hardly notice it, sir. Why are you getting so angry?" Onlookers urged the vendor to give the monk one of his less succulent pears just to be rid of him, but the man obstinately refused. A waiter who was serving the customers at a nearby wine stall, seeing that the scene was threatening to grow ugly, bought a pear and gave it to the monk, who bowed in thanks and turned to the assembled crowd. "Meanness," he declared, "is something we monks find impossible to understand. I have some very fine pears of my own, which I should like to give you." "If you have such fine pears," said one of the crowd, "then why did you not eat them yourself? Why did you need to go begging?" "I needed this one for the seed," was the monk's reply. So saying, he held the pear out in front of him and began munching it until all he had left was a single seed from its core, which he held out in one hand while taking down a hoe from his shoulder and making a little hole in the ground. Here he placed the seed and covered it with earth. He now asked for some hot water to sprinkle on it, and one of the more enterprising members of the crowd went off and fetched him some from a roadside tavern. The water was scalding hot, but the monk proceeded to pour it on the ground over his seed. The crowd watched riveted as a tiny sprout began pushing its way up to the soil, growing and growing until soon it was a fully fledged tree, complete with branches and leaves. And then it flowered and bore fruit, great big fragrant pears. Every branch was laden with them. The monk now climbed up into the tree and began picking the pears, handing them down to the crowd as he did so. Soon every single pear in the tree had been given away. When this was done, he started hacking at the tree with his hoe, and had soon felled it. Then, shouldering the tree, branches, leaves, and all, he sauntered casually off. Now from the very beginning of this performance, the pear vendor had been standing in the crowd, straining his neck to see what the others were seeing, quite forgetting his trade and what he had come to market for. Only when the monk had gone did he turn and see that his own cart was empty. Then he knew that the pears the monk had just been handing out were all from his cart, and he noticed that his cart was missing one of its handles. It had been newly hacked away. The peasant flew into a rage and went in hot pursuit of the monk, following him the length of a wall, round a corner, and there was his cart handle lying discarded on the ground. He knew at once that it had served as the monk's pear tree. As for the monk himself, he had vanished without trace, to the great amazement of the crowd.